Hey everyone, this is Kestrel and Catherine over here at the Email Edit. We are going to go through 3 different Shopify merchant email messages today. They all happen to be fashion and accessories. So if you are a Shopify merchant in that industry, I think this will be extra interesting for you. And then we are going to spin a spinny wheel and pick one of those messages at random to magically remake. Our head of email design and templates and master graphic designer, Catherine, will be taking that message and then be reworking it within the Seguno app so we could see kind of a different version of that message, including the best practices that we mentioned. Hey, Catherine, you're joining us on the call today. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, Kestrel?
Doing good. Hanging out. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into these messages. All right. Up first, we have got Vertara. Now, Vertara, I really love what you're doing here. You've got a strong brand message and you've got a really unique product. You're also more of a luxe product, so you're more on the higher end. And like I said, you're something that's really unique. You can't just find your handbags anywhere. They've got a really unique design and story. I see that they're handmade in India, and you talk about that a little bit here. One thing, and this is me being a little bit of a bugaboo, but one thing to really point out here is that navigation bar where people are going to be looking the most. I would definitely consider changing that around to being your main categories so that if somebody was to just see this very top part of your message, they could immediately get into the different types of products you have right away. And then I would also recommend linking these images. That's a really simple thing to do, but people are kind of conditioned to just click on images. And so when we have something like that, it's an opportunity for you to get people back to your site, and we want to take advantage of it. So those are some of the things that I'm seeing right away. Catherine, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with you about linking images, Kestrel. That's a big one. So even when you've gone ahead and added that call to action button to your message, you want to make sure all the parts of the message are linked to drive people back to your site. One of the things that I'm feeling as I look through the message, I'm seeing so many good pieces of content, and that's awesome and in a welcome message. There's some information on the inspiration story. There's inspiration about, what am I trying to say? There's content that's about the inspiration of the brand. There's content about how the bags are made. But I'm looking for like a way to click through and learn more about those different categories. I think there's a better way that we could organize the content here to make it super clickable and kind of bite-sized, so it'd be easy for people to follow, jump through, and get engaged.
Yeah, just some like basic structure that would be able to let the eye be able to flow through the message a little bit differently. I agree. I agree with that too. Another thing is, again, these items are more luxury, and they're also very different with a lot of detail on them. So I would consider, instead of having the 2 rows of 3 columns, I would actually consider, making sure each image has a little bit more space around it so that you can see the item a little bit more. Don't want to crowd these. That would be my big takeaway there too. That all of that being said, I love this line that you have at the bottom: empowered women, empowering women. It's great. I think that really speaks to a specific audience, and I think I'm one of those members of that audience. I think that this is really powerful, and I love to see what you're doing here. All right, up next, we are going to get into Buckaroo Bling, if I can talk right. All right, Buckaroo Bling. One of the things that really charmed me off the bat is this line that you have up at the top of your message: American made, American sourced materials created by hand from start to finish. I love that. I think it really speaks to, not only your products and what you're making, but also who's going to be attracted to your products. I love to see that. I think it's a nice, very sweet top part of the message. One thing that I would, want to call out right away is that you do have this flash sale timer, but it's quite a bit down in the message, so it's a little bit hard to see, and also you're not taking advantage of the term flash sale as much. I would encourage you to put that word flash sale in the subject line and also more at the top of the message. so that people understand that there's a limited amount of time. And also, I know that you do state that in this gray banner, but it's just a little bit hard to read. So nothing gets people's attention like that countdown timer. So I would make sure to probably have that up at the top too. And then you also, I believe, asked specifically about removing the header in your in this message and wanting to change, I think, that navigation bar. And I just wanted to show you really quick in the app, that's actually super easy to do. You can just go to the header and you can change around what you want to say here. You can also hide the logo. You can change the logo. You can change the logo width. And then you can change all of these just by removing the content. So that's actually something super quick and easy that you can do. Wanted to make sure you knew that. And then as far as customizing the footer, Catherine, you had some ideas around that and the rest of the message.
Yeah, customizing the footer. One of the things that I like to do in that section is change the background color in the footer to make sure it matches the background color in the footer of my site. So that's an easy and quick way to customize the footer and make it feel aligned with your brand. You can also add in images that nestle kind of nice on top and sit flush against the footer section to create a footer that functions. So whether those are icons that speak to your brand values or a tagline like we saw in Vertara's message, that's an opportunity to incorporate content into that footer area. One of the things that really stands out to me here, Kestrel, is that we've got a lot of wonderful white space. So this message is super easy to skim and to scan, which I love. But it's one of those instances where I wish that we were showing a little bit more than we're telling. I would love to see some more product images in this message, some brand images that give me some beautiful close-ups of the jewelry, some of the gift ideas. So then when I'm seeing this call to action to treat myself, I know what I'm treating myself with. I have an idea in mind, I'm feeling inspired, and I'm ready to shop. So definitely don't forget, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So bring those big, beautiful brand images into your message to get people inspired and shopping.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely want to see more of the product in here. Love seeing these turquoise and orange colors coming through, and it looks like you've got some really great product photos, so definitely would want to see those a little bit more in here as well. But thanks so much for sending your item in, Buckaroo Bling. And now let's go to our third before we spin our wheel. We've got Bon Tea, and in this message, right up at the top, I would think about maybe prioritizing this navigation bar again. Just what are some of the top places you want people to go, and make sure that those are listed here. Like, do you really want them going to reviews? Do you really want them going to journal? Or do you want them to go to a product page? Probably a product page. The other thing is, I love this GIF that you have up here at this top, this VIP early access, but then VIP isn't mentioned anywhere else. So I'm kind of wondering, like, who got the VIP? Am I a VIP? Do I have early access? I'm asking those questions. So that just is an opportunity for you to be able to maybe explain a little bit more there, and I think that could help. Catherine, what else are you thinking here?
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Kestrel, on the great use of GIF. That's super engaging. It automatically catches my eye and encourages me to scroll. One of the things that I might suggest here is just considering a little bit more where our buttons are placed, kind of correlated to the content, because it gets a bit confusing for me in this message when I click shop now, which product I'm shopping. So we just want to make sure that that's super clear when someone clicks a button, that they feel confident in where they're going to be taken, that we're giving them a really clear direction. If you're not going to make it super clear, or you've got multiple products in one general shop button, I think that's something to just consider. We want to make sure that we are meeting people's expectations in the message and not confusing them at all. So just being really clear about where a button is going to take me when I click shop now.
Yep, and a great thing to remember there is typically you're going to have an image and probably like a title, and then the copy, and then the button. And that creates an inverted triangle, which allows people to know exactly where they need to be clicking. No, I couldn't agree more. And a subtle thing here too, I love the GIFs, but I would also love to see more of a close-up shot of the knit of these two vests because they're beautiful, and I can kind of see the texture here a little bit, but it's a little bit tough for me also, you know, just within the GIF. So I'd love to see a close-up shot of the products so I can kind of picture how it would feel on my skin and what it would look like up close. And the same thing goes for the necklaces here. Would love to see a little bit more about what these are made of. I love that you state it here, and I do want to call out that you know, created some short pieces of copy here that really describe the product, and I love that. Big thumbs up. And you're utilizing a GIF, big thumbs up. And overall, this is a relatively streamlined and simple message, so I think it really gets the point across, which is awesome. Okay, well, now we've reviewed those 3 brands. Catherine, I think it's time. We got to spin that wheel.
Okay, it's time to spin the wheel. Let's get that set up. Here we go. Oh my goodness, it's Vertara.
Awesome. All right, well, Vertara, you are going to get your message recreated by our master designer, Catherine. Just going to reimagine it for you. So Catherine, I'm going to let you go off to your magical template studio and work away on this message, and we'll meet back here to take a look when you're done.
Sounds good, Kestrel. I'll be back in just a few.
Beep, 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 beep.
All right, I'm ready to get started. Thank you so much, Vertara, for submitting this message. I'm really looking forward to building it up for you. But before we do, let's quickly review the message just to get refreshed on the elements that we're working with. So this is Vertara's welcome message, and starting off strong here, we've got logo, mission statement, and menu here in the header. I do think there's a way for us to streamline this section a little bit. And I'd also love to change the look and feel to bring it more in line with your site. Right now it's super light and bright, but when I go to your site, it's dark, it's sleek, it's chic. So I would love to bring your header and your footer more in line with that site vibe. Okay, in our next section, we've got our text, headline, as well as piece of lifestyle photography here in the hero image. And I like the idea of incorporating our text into our hero image. I definitely think we want to use a larger piece of product-driven photography here, as well as a brand font to make this hero image super exciting and engaging and draw people in immediately. In our next section, we're speaking to 15% off here. I've got an idea for how we can tweak the language just a little bit to bring it more in line with the luxury vibe of your brand. All right, and then next up, we've got some different pieces of content speaking to materials, speaking to how your bags are made, touching on the inspiration story, and then also showing off some bestsellers. I think there's a way for us to consolidate this content, make it super bite-sized and clickable so it grabs people's attention and draws them in to engage with you and your content on your site. And last but not least, I love the brand elements we've included here in the footer. I think there's a way for us to hold on to those, but again, to bring them more in line with the dark, sleek, chic vibe that I see on your site. All right, now we're refreshed. We're ready to dive into the app and get started. All right, so now I'm here in the Seguno app, which is built inside Shopify, so everything feels very familiar, and I'm just starting here with a blank newsletter. Only a few things that I've got filled in, and I'll tell you what they are. I've got my subject line here, welcome to Vertara. My preview text, I have pick your style, carry your purpose. That's the tagline that we saw in the header section before. In our pre-header, I've added in complimentary shipping and free returns, which I noticed was in your footer before. I want to go ahead and bring that up high in the message to make sure people see it, since that's such an awesome value add. I've got logo pulling in here, so you can see the Vertara logo. This logo is more aligned with the site, so it's already dark instead of the white version of the logo that we saw before. And we've also got menu pulling in here, shop, our story, and Tara Times, which links to the blog content. So we're pretty much ready to build. The thing I want to start with, of course, is customizing my header and my footer to make them feel dark, sleek, and chic like we talked about. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to Theme Settings, Colors, and then behind my logo, I want that color to be black. All right. And then behind my menu, I want that to be black as well. So I'm going to turn my text white and make the background black. All right. I'm going to change the footer to black as well. I know there's some customization that I'm going to get to, but I'm going to go ahead and make that color change here. All right, so now we're ready to add some sections. I want to add a bold, branded, product-driven hero image with some brand text on top of that and have that really open the message and grab people's attention right away. So I'm going to go ahead and add my image section. And I want to design that in Canva because that's going to make it super easy. So I'm going to go ahead and say design with Canva. For the size, I'm going to choose custom dimensions here. And I know I want it to be square, and I also know I want it to be retina quality. Retina quality means there's 2 times the amount of pixels so that it shows up really crisp and clear on those retina quality screens. I know my email width is 600 pixels, so I want it to be double the width. So 1200 pixels. And for my height, I know I want it to be square, so it's going to be the same number of pixels high. And let's create design. I already have a piece of photography in mind, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop that in. I'm going to make this set image as background, and then I'm going to add my branded text on top of that by going to text, just selecting heading, dragging that up, and then choosing the font that I know I want to use. This is the script that we've got on the site, so it's totally aligned with my branding. And we'll change that to say, welcome to Vertara. I think I want this to be 2 lines. I'm gonna make it nice and big. All right. I'm liking that so far, dragging that here into the middle. I want to change my text to white, and then I want to just reduce the space in between those lines a little bit. Pull that down closer to 1. See how that looks. Oh yeah, that's feeling good. I think I could make this just a touch bigger. Center it, and we're ready to publish. Let's see how that looks. All right. Awesome. So I'm loving this imagery, and I'll tell you why. It's got the pinks that I know are already here in my logo. It feels super on brand and beautiful. It's showing me a full collection and kind of highlights the interchangeability of the product. And then I've also got my branded copy. So using that brand font here as the welcome, I think we're starting off really strong. So now I want to add in some rich text and my call to action that's showcasing that 15% off offer and welcoming people to the brand. Oh, I almost forgot. We've got to add our alt text, and we've got to link our image. Welcome to Vertara. And then always want to link back to the site. Whew. Okay, that was easy. Now I can add in rich text. Scrolling down here, adding my rich text section. And I really liked the language that we were using in the original message. Just want to make a couple of tweaks, and I'll tell you why. Dropping that in here. I'm going to delete my heading. Just editing slightly here. All right, and then we're going to center align everything. I think this is such a warm welcome. I love the idea of the Vertara True Stars Club, and the 15% off is a really generous, strong welcome offer. The only thing I really want to tweak is the language around coupons. And part of that is because when you think of a luxury or a high-end or a designer brand, you don't normally think of coupons. So instead, I'd like to rephrase this as a welcome gift. So I want to say something along the lines of, as our welcome gift to you, please enjoy 15% off your next purchase. Simply use code welcome to Vertara 2021 at checkout. And that frames it more as, we don't normally do this, but this is our gift to you, not like I'm going to find coupons normally when I'm shopping with your brand. So go ahead and bold this text, make that stand out just a little bit more. And now we're ready for our call to action. So I'm going to go ahead and add a button. Perfect. Adding that there. And I think shop now works. We could be a little bit more descriptive if we wanted to say discover Vertara or explore the brand or start shopping. There's a lot of different opportunities there. Could definitely play around with it. I'm going to leave shop now for now because I think it's short, it's sweet, and it gets to the point. We just want to make sure we are linking to the shop so people can get started shopping right away when they click. All right. So far, so good. Now I think we're ready to move into more of the content. So organizing all those different elements that we'd seen in your original welcome message, making them more bite-sized and clickable. My idea is to present this information in a 4-block grid with a mission, materials, bestsellers, and story section, all with their own call to action buttons and images. So it's very easy to kind of scan, but you could also dive in and click on the category that caught your attention. So I'll show you how I want to do this. I'm going to go ahead and add the section text column with images. And right now this is going to go ahead and auto-populate as 3 across, but I want it to be 2 across. So I'm just going to click on this third one, scroll down, and say remove content. Okay, and now I'm ready to customize. We'll jump into the first one here. So this one I'm thinking we're going to use as mission. I'm going to go ahead and select an image that I think really aligns with that. So this is an artisan. She's wearing a really eye-catching bright orange garment. She's working on a bag. So it's giving me that behind the scenes look at the people who are working and making these bags. Now let's go ahead and add some image description here, some alt text. Artisan making Vertara bag. And then for our heading here, definitely want to speak to that mission and help people understand how you give back, how you empower women, how you work with makers in their communities. So that's kind of what we want to speak to here in this section. I think empowering women is such a big part of your brand that that's the headline that I want to use here. So we're going to say empowering women. And then what are some ways that we do that? I think on your site, you used a line, fashion can be fantastic and fair. And that really stood out to me when I was looking at your site. So let's go ahead and add that in here. Fashion can be fantastic and fair. We work to empower women makers. All right. And then for our button text, let's go ahead and say, discover our mission. I think this is a way that we can draw people into your story to understand more about why this is important to you and your brand, and to get interested in what it is that you're doing. So definitely want to link to, here it is, our mission. Grab that and add that here for our button. All right, and there it is. Let's move on to our next section. Now, this is a place where I think we can speak to bestsellers. So for here, I definitely want to grab an image that shows off the product, kind of shows it in action, maybe even shows someone carrying it, and I have one in mind. What I love about this image, it's also featuring that bright pop of orange. So it feels like these two images are kind of speaking to each other and definitely are on brand. We'll add our alt text here. And for this section, I know I want to direct people to shop bestsellers, but I also want to use a line from your site, fashion your style, which speaks to the interchangeability of the product. And I think there were some really great lines here from your message that we can use. Yeah. Okay, so here it's designed for women who are short on time and big on purpose. That connects with me. I'd like to see that here in that bestseller section. Let's go ahead and grab that. Our bags are designed for women who are short on time, big on purpose. That's super exciting. And we'll say shop bestsellers. So that's going to take me to a section where other women who are like me, short on time and big on purpose, what those products are that they're loving, that they're using. That's going to get me in there, experiencing your product and shopping. So I want to go ahead and get to shop bestsellers and pull that in for my button link here. Okay, and we've got our first section. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to remove this heading here and then add a little bit of space here. That padding is important just to make sure that there's breathing room around all of the elements in the message. I think that adds to the experience overall and keeps things from feeling too crowded. Okay, so to make my next 2 sections of content, I'm just going to duplicate this section and then go back in and customize. Okay, so the last 2 areas we wanted to focus on were materials and then story. So for materials, I think just a nice close-up of the product is going to work here. So I'm going to click change and pull in this one that I found. All right. And we'll say close-up of Vertara bags here for our alt text. And then for our heading, instead of empowering women, we're going to talk about sustainable luxury. Sustainability is a big part of your brand and what it is that you do and make, but you're also luxury bags. So want to combine that and help people understand how you are using your materials to bring this to life. So then here in our text, we want to say something, and I think you've got a line in your message. Yes, your choice of colors and textures. That's exciting, kind of speaks to the choice that I have in terms of materials and what they're made of. And we'll say, see our materials as the button text. Okay, and then we just want to make sure that we're linking to that here in our button. There we go. All right, and then for our last section, instead of speaking to bestsellers and interchangeability of the product, we want to speak to the inspiration story a little bit. So let's go ahead and customize that. And for this image, I'd love to use one of the amazing fashion illustrations that you feature on your site. I think that's so cool that you're showing essentially like how it was inspired, right? That's part of the story is how the products were inspired. So I'm going to choose one of those fashion illustrations here, which again features this beautiful orange hue, feels on brand, it's connected to my hero image. And we'll say illustration of woman holding Vertara bag here for our alt text. And then for our heading here, I'm thinking we'll say something, and maybe you've said it best. Yes, inspired by true stars like you. Let's go ahead and grab that. All right, so then I'm going to say inspired by true stars. Perfect. And then we'll say our handbags are inspired by you. Fabulous, versatile, purposeful. And then for our button here, we can say, see our story. And then we want to link to our story. All right. So now we've got our content organized in a way that I think is really engaging. It's grabbing people. It's showing off all those different elements of what makes Vertara such a unique brand. And above all, it's easy to scan, easy to click, and hopefully it's going to grab people and bring them in. All right, so wrapping up our message, I want to add a little bit more space here. I'm going to just duplicate that section, drag it down. And now I'm ready to add those branded elements to our footer. They're just going to be a couple of image elements. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in image, select, and these are also elements I've designed in Canva. I'm just dropping them in here. So the first up is that sort of little divider that includes our submark, part of our brand identity, I think that's a perfect place to put that. So we'll just make sure that this links to your site and has alt text there as well. All right. And then I just duplicated that section, and then I want to add in here our tagline. So changing this image, again, I just designed this in Canva, and now we've got empowered women, empowering women here in that footer section as well. Make sure that's what's listed here in my alt text. Great, and it's linking to our site. That's what we want it to do. And now I feel like our message is complete. Let's take a quick look at how it's rendering on mobile. All I have to do is click my little mobile icon here. All right, so we're leading with our logo, a really strong welcome image. We're talking about 15% off and an invitation to start shopping. I'm brought into these sections where I can discover the brand mission, shop bestsellers, explore and discover materials, and then read the story. And now I'm here in my footer. Oh, here's a quick tip. See these lines that are showing up between my mobile optimized menu? Part of the reason that we've got those there is to make those menu items super clickable. In this case, I feel like they compete a little bit with the brand elements that I've added to my footer section. Let me show you how you can change it. Pop into theme settings, go back to colors, and we're just going to go to the mobile border section here under menu, and I'm going to change that to be the same background color as my footer, and see those lines disappear. So still totally clickable, doesn't change the functionality at all. To me, this just feels like a much more streamlined and much more attractive footer now that we've got those lines sort of hidden. So just a quick tip for you. There's a reason they're there, but if you want them to be hidden, it's very easy to do. All right. Overall, I'm feeling like this is a super strong message. I'm really excited about it, and I think now I'm ready to go shopping. But first, let's see what Kestrel thinks. Okay, jumping back in to share this with Kestrel.
Beep, 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 beep. Catherine, I love it. This is a great layout. I can now definitely see that this is more of a luxury product, and I love the streamlined, simple nature of the template. It really gets the point across of the message. I think you used a great mixture of colors and the product photography. It looks really beautiful. So great job, Catherine.
Thanks, Kestrel. Hopefully all the tips and tricks that I incorporated into that message are super helpful. Vertara, thank you again for submitting your message. It was a pleasure working with your brand assets. You're doing an awesome job.
Great. All right, everyone, if you want to be on one of the next episodes of the email edit, then go ahead and send us your email to critique@seguno.com. I'll put that information below along with all of the retailers that we listed out here today. Want to make sure that we're highlighting those. Thanks again so much, Shopify merchants who sent in. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll see you here next time.